Okay, so it's tour time and I want to show you a tour. If I don't show you, it's never going to happen. So here we go. Come on in, let's take a look, and I'm going to show you around. I'm going to show you the different systems and methods that I have that we're growing. We'll take a quick look and a couple little close-ups for you. So this is usually where I start all my seeds, and I have it covered with a dome, but for now, because these plants are ready and they're already big, they're ready to transplant. Right beside our little nursery there, we have our Kohlrabi that I started all from seed. To me, this, it's such a beautiful Kohlrabi. We grew this cracky style, right? And she's doing good. We're gonna harvest this because that's it. I have to make room for more. Right below it, we have some spices, and we have some garlic chives and some onion chives, and these are all grown cracky. We have our basil plant here that we continuously pick off. We have some dill, some sage in the background, and some parsley. Let's take a look at the roots of this plant here. This is actually all green bunching onions, so take a look at those roots. Nice, white, healthy, no air stones, nothing. So that's where I start off, and I grow the majority of our spices, but because everything's growing big, I've been putting spices all over the place, and we'll take a look so you can see. Next, over here on this rack, we'll start at the top, and what I have growing here are our beefsteak bush type tomatoes, and these are determinate, so they're only going to grow a certain size, and we're growing these in 3-gallon buckets, and we're growing without air stones, cracky style. And I want to show you something. So these buckets are small. The tomatoes would need bigger buckets to grow cracky style, but I've kind of designed a little self-watering system that's been working great. So this self-watering system right now, I'm just going through the phase of figuring out how long that I can water these for and how much water that they need per day. But I'll give you a little example. So I'm just going to plug this in right now. I unplugged it because right now I'm just trying to figure out the amount of water and how long it can grow. So all I have to do this manually is I'm just going to press this here. That starts off the pump. Now I put in valves because this one watering system and that reservoir is running all the way along down there, and it's watering our bell pepper plants and our indeterminate tomato plants over there. So I'll show you how this works, and this is great. I just finished setting this up. So I'm going to turn this valve on and come on over and take a look. So I'm trying to set up. So you see that right there? Right? So I just turned on the valve there. And I can shut this off, like so, and I can water any one individually. So that's kind of my little auto refilling system that I'm working on. I'm just going to shut this off for now. Right below our beef steak bush type tomatoes, we have some more cracky growing, and these are in the Home Depot containers. Over here I have carrots. They're the short and sweet variety, and we're going to harvest these because they're ready to harvest. These are grown cracky. Right next to it, we have our radishes that are just growing so beautifully, and they're also growing cracky style, and this is all using the Master Blend formula. On this side over here, we have, on the top, we have our Crop King NFT system. Now, this Crop King comes in 10-foot lengths and 12-foot lengths, but I cut them down to 4 foot so I can have them hanging up top here. And I wanted to take advantage of the upper portion of this with our NFT systems. And the first NFT closer to us, we're growing baby bok choy. So it's like bok toy choy, they call it. In the background, we have some Swiss chard. And that's just started up, and it's growing just beautifully. We're using just regular shop lights for these. I raised them up just for this video so we can show everybody. Right below it, I have my favorite plants, and these are my bell peppers. So these bell peppers are all growing. So DWC, so we have an air stone, they're 4-gallon buckets, and I also have the self-watering system going on here, but it's in the works so I can figure out. If I ever want to water these, I don't have to lift up the lid and refill them with my watering can and so on. Over here we have our red bell peppers, we have our green bell peppers, and we have our yellow bell peppers, and we're going to do a little bit of a harvest on these today. On the same rack, like I said, that I have spices all over the place, we have our lemon balm here, and this is growing in 1-gallon containers. And it's all growing cracky style. Take a look at the roots. Nice and healthy. So that's our lemon balm. We also have some mint over here. And it's growing so beautifully. And we just keep cutting off whenever we need to use any of it. On this rack itself, I do have some air fans for airflow. And I have our air pump just below. That's where I put all the electrical on that shelf so that everything stays off of the floor. And that's the whole key to this. So let's move along and show you my tomato bait. This is my tomato bait. Again, another one of my favorites. And these tomatoes are indeterminate. So they'll keep growing as long as I can keep them healthy. And we're going to try to see if we can keep growing them along the ceiling here, so that they can keep producing as long as I can keep them healthy. These tomato plants are monster leader type, so that's the species. I wanted to try something different other than the beefsteak tomatoes and stuff like that, and they're just growing so beautifully and producing so great. And we have a couple big ones here that they're just gorgeous. They're huge. It's unbelievable. We're going to do a harvest on those too. So taking a look down here so you can see the setup, we have our 4-gallon buckets again. We have our auto filling system here, so I don't have to keep lifting up the lid if I have to top them up, because we do have to top them up. These tomato plants are drinking just like crazy, and they're drinking at least about 1 gallon per day. And they just keep growing. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at these roots so I can show everybody. And I don't know if you noticed, but we don't have any clay pebbles whatsoever. I'm staying away from clay pebbles. So I'm going to be very careful. So you can take a look at the roots there. And these have air stones in them. But I shut the pump off because I didn't want it to be too loud for the video itself, right? Again, on this shelf, we have, you know, our spices, which is always nice to have, and I love, you know, growing them, and we use them quite often when we're cooking. We have, again, in our 1-gallon containers, our oregano, some rosemary, and it's just there, beautiful, growing. The roots are looking great, and so on. So moving along, and I guess since we're down here, we'll start off with showing you our Tiny Tims. These Tiny Tims, I'm so proud of. They're my favorite little miniature size tomatoes. So as opposed to growing cherry tomatoes, which are indeterminate and keep growing big and tall, my favorites are our Tiny Tims, and we have our Tiny Tims here. This one plant itself is over 6 months old, and it keeps on producing, keeps on growing. It's developing flowers here and there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just unbelievable right there. And it keeps growing the little baby flowers so it can produce fruit. These are growing in cracky style, so no air, none of that. We have another little baby Tiny Tim tomato plant. This one's just short 2 months old, and she's producing so well. Let's take a look at the roots. So you can see that. Nice, white, healthy, just unbelievable. No clay pebbles, none of that. Just all I use is clone collars, and that's it. And as the plant grows, if the stem becomes bigger, I have different sizes of holes where the clone collars are a little bit bigger, and I just remove those very easily and put the bigger ones on. When they get too big like these ones, I just remove the clone cover, and all I do is put a little bit of landscape fabric. I grab the landscape fabric, I cut out little circles like you see here, and just put it there to block out the light. Okay, so in behind here on the back wall, we have 2 cucumber plants, and these are Diva cucumber plants. These Diva cucumber plants produce about 85 to 90% female. So with it producing the female fruit and female flowers, there's no pollination necessary. Everything just grows, and it's the majority. The males, they do come up also. So you can see this right here is a male because it doesn't have any fruit behind it. Take a look. And then we have the females here where they have, and they produce the fruit right behind it. So this one here, and there's another one over there. I would say within about 4 weeks, they're going to start to fill up and grow, and hopefully we're going to have a harvest. The one thing that I wanted to point out is with using all these steel wire shelves, they're great because you can add so many different things and they're very strong. They support. The one beautiful thing that I really wanted to do is I installed trellis that I bought off of Amazon, and the cucumbers just keep on growing and climbing up. So these are baby plants right now, but in a few weeks they'll climb all the way up the trellis and wrap themselves, and it'll just be so filled with foliage and fruit. It's just unbelievable. Again, we have, you know, some fans, and this is for the tomato plant, just to recirculate the air so it doesn't get too hot in here. Moving up, we have our NFT system again, trying to take advantage of the height of the room and the height of the rack so that, you know, we can grow as many plants as we can in a little space like this. This NFT system, all the NFT systems are on the top so that I can have the nutrients pump up, and then so that the NFT can drain right down back into the reservoir. Take a look there. And the pumps that I'm using, that I'm really happy. So it looks a little crazy because I have so many pumps and stuff like that. But with all the individual systems that we have growing and different plants, we needed different reservoirs. And I don't have the luxury of, in this room, having a 55-gallon container or a reservoir to feed all the plants. So what I did is I just grabbed some 4-gallon containers, and I pretty much did a reservoir per each of the NFTs. So this, for an example, reservoir will feed these 2, and this pump here will take the nutrients out of our bucket, like so, using the 1/4-inch tube, and it pumps it all the way up the 1/4-inch tube into the beginning of the NFT. As it fills up, the NFT has a slight slope, and it drains all back into our reservoir. Right next to it, a little project that I wanted to try out, and I just wanted to see, again, taking advantage of the whole system and the setup. This is my DIY strawberry tower. Very simple. I didn't drill any holes in it whatsoever. All the parts I bought and put together, and I have this so that it's expandable, and I'll show you how and what I mean about expandable. So this top part here is removable, and that's where the nutrients and the feed line come through. You take a look, nothing fancy, just an open tube. And then I bought this PVC fitting so that a 2-inch cone collar can sit in there to block out the light and so on. And this feed tube just drains the nutrients and puts the nutrients down into here. And I made a little custom plexiglass circle, and I drilled holes only where I wanted the water to come down so it falls right onto the strawberry and the roots. And this is removable because all I have to do, and I already have, you know, a couple ready to go, exactly like this with the TY and another PVC tube. I can add to it, put another plant, and so on. And so the feed tube goes through there, drains, and then over here we have our drain line, and it goes right back into the reservoir. And next to it, we have our other NFT system. Right now we have some white Boston lettuce that's about 3 weeks old, and behind it I just transplanted some romaine. I don't know if you can see that, but I just put it in today. And let's see how they're going to grow. They're about a week and a half old, and that's it. They're ready to go in that NFT system. Just below it, we have our cucumber, my DIY cucumber tube. Again, we're using this another pump system and another reservoir that's on this side. And the pump just takes it, all the nutrients and the solution, pumps it into this little hole. And this is one thing that I just want to show everybody, right? So I didn't drill any holes in the PVC pipe. All I did was I just bought the actual PVC fitting to drop a 3-inch net cup. So this NFT system is 3-inch PVC. I just tried the 3-inch to see if it would work and if the cucumbers would, you know, grow properly in here. So it's 3-inch. I have removable ends on it and so on, and they're growing just beautifully. This species is not Diva, but they're Socrates. That's the species. And if you can take a look, there's some females already with fruit. And this cucumber plant's about, I'd say, 3.5, almost 4 weeks old. And it's loving it. You know, I wanted to do a DIY NFT to see if I can get rid of, you know, some buckets. And before this NFT, if I had a cucumber plant there and a cucumber plant there, then I would have them in, you know, their 4-gallon buckets. So I want to kind of grow more plants and get rid of, you know, some buckets. So those two Diva cucumber plants, they're in their 4-gallon containers. I've tried that and I go a lot with that, but the next gen and the next plant is I'm going to do a 4-inch NFT for those cucumbers so I can get rid of one of the reservoirs. So I only have the one, not the 2 buckets, for space and to accommodate more plants. Right in front of our cucumber plants, we have our little babies. They're about, I would say about 6 to 7 weeks old. And these are our sweet banana peppers. And they're already flowering. They already have, look at this, 1 fruit already that's been successfully pollinated. And they're our babies, and they're growing cracky style. So let's take a look. So this is the sweet banana pepper. So I'm just going to lift the lid up carefully, and you take a look at the roots. All cracky style. No air, just nutrients, net cup. And again, if you notice, no more clay pebbles. I'm done with clay pebbles. It's just unbelievable. Like, you would lift up the lid, the clay pebbles would fall all over the place. And with the clay pebbles, after every grow, I would have to sterilize them, wash them, and so on. So I just got away from the clay pebbles altogether, and we're doing our clone colors. So far, they've been working really great, and I'm just enjoying how clean the clone covers keep the light out from going into the container and creating any algae whatsoever. So it's working out great. Right beside it is our red bell pepper. This is another baby here. Again, we're using the Master Blend nutrients, which I just love, and it works out on all the plants. I have different mixes for different plants in different stages that I use. Right now, this is using the regular Master Blend formula, so 12 grams of the MB tomato, 6 grams of the Epsom salts, and 12 grams of the calcium nitrate. As they grow bigger and they really start to, you know, grow and produce more fruit, I double up the concentration of the Master Blend ×2 type thing. So 24 grams of the Master Blend, and then I don't double up the Epsom salts, but I do 10 grams of the Epsom salts and 24 grams of the calcium nitrate. And the result is over here. I'll show you. This is the result of, as they get bigger, I, you know, up the concentration of the Master Blend. And these plants, they're just unbelievable. These plants are about 5 months old, and they're producing so many sweet banana peppers. And we have a ton of them that we're going to harvest today so that we can keep going with this. And these 2 banana peppers, the sweet banana peppers, they're growing cracky also. So no air, none of that. Just nutrients in a bucket, and they've grown this entire time. And again, you know, the clay pebbles, these were started off with clay pebbles, but then I removed them because I just couldn't stand them falling all over the place. And let's see if we can take a look at the roots here. I have to be very careful because it's very heavy with fruit. So you take a look at those roots. That's the best that we can do to show everybody, but it's just beautiful. Now these right now I'm hand filling, just with my watering jug, and it's working out well. In a couple days I'm going to continue my feed line from my reservoir, and I'm going to have them here. I'm going to put my valves like I showed you with the earlier with the tomatoes and stuff like that. Next to it, this is also another bay where I put the trellis that I bought from Amazon, and I just use zip ties to tie it up, to the shelving rack and so on. And it goes all the way from this point all the way to the top. And what happens, the peas over here that we're growing, they're sugar snap peas. These two are growing cracky style, and take a look at the roots there. So no air, nothing, and they're working out very beautifully. This is actually our second try at it. Our first try, this was filled. I had sugar snap peas like this in these 3-gallon containers on this side, and then I had 3 over here again, and we're growing them cracky, and it was just beautiful. They just filled up, grabbed the trellis, and keep growing, and they produce amazing fruits and peas that you can just take off and eat. This over here on this side is empty, but this is where we're going to get our contender beans. So I'm going to set everything up, and we'll show you in this video how I start them off in their new homes, in their permanent homes. And I'll show you everything in the video soon. So that's it. Take a look. Our last little tour. So up above, again, we have another 2 NFT channels, just short of 4 feet. And I left room on the sides here, and this is where the peas all grow up, and all the cucumbers on that side. It fills this all up just beautifully. In the front NFT, we have some white Boston lettuce, and this we're going to harvest too, and I'm going to show you everything we're going to show you in the video. In behind, if you can see, we have our arugula, which I'm really happy to show you. And this arugula, we just keep picking off of it, and it just keeps producing. It's amazing to have like arugula and spinach and kale in the salad, all from just whenever you want to eat anything or make a salad. We come here, we pick it off, we make a nice fresh salad, and we enjoy it. Let's take a look at this NFT system. So this NFT system, you can see the kale, they're just huge, and it just keeps growing. Look how big the leaves of the kale are. So we're going to harvest all of that too. In the front NFT, we have our spinach. Look how green. And again, the spinach, there's nothing better than just coming here to make a salad. We trim off all the bottom growth, and it just keeps growing. It's unbelievable. So there you have it, folks. That's our little tour. I hope I didn't take up too much time, but this is one of the parts in this video. I hope you enjoyed looking around. If you have any questions or comments, you know where to leave them. I'll always help everybody out with answering and trying to help. After this, we're going to do some transplanting of our contender beans, and I'm going to show you how simple and easy it is and the way I transplant everything without clay pebbles, using the clone collars, 3-inch netcup, and a 3-gallon container. So stay tuned. We're going to get to that right now. Okay. All right, so it's time for us to show you how I transplant, any plants that I grow, or the majority, and especially these ones right here, because they're ready. They're past beyond being ready. We're going to show you how we're transplanting. So I'm going to grab these, and we're going to bring them over to our workstation. Maybe take a quick look, if you can take a peek at the roots that have come through the Jiffy pellet. And that's it. Let's go over to our workstation. And here we are. So I started these off from seed like I do all my plants, and we're going to make this quick and easy so we can show you. I use Jiffy pellets for the majority of our plants, and this is ready to be transplanted. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. With these 2 bean plants, I'm just going to use are 3-gallon round containers that are blacked out that I bought on ULINE, and it's empty, right? So what we need to do, we're going to use a 3-inch net cup. The lid is already drilled out for 3-inch, and just to let you know, 3-inch net cup in any of my lids, if I use a 2-inch net cup or a 3-inch net cup, I always use, for an example, 3-inch net cup, I use a 2 7/8 hole saw bit. 2-inch net cup, I use 1 7/8. I go 1/8 smaller because then it has a great fit. If you can see that, right? And it doesn't feel like it's falling through, right? I'm going to flip this, right? You see that? Nice and tight. Perfect sizing for net cups. Very simple. I'm going to grab the Master Blend nutrients. I already pH'd them. I pH'd the whole 5-gallon container, and I pH'd it to 6 pH. So I'm going to fill this up and we'll show you. Here's our 5-gallon mix, and I'm going to fill this up with water. With our nutrients, it's already pH, it's already mixed. And I'm going to guess it there. And we're going to grab the lid, take a look, put our 3-inch net cup inside the bucket. And you can see, so right now, the 3-inch net cup, it's submerged about 1/4 inch. Okay? And that's it. So now, with doing that, very simple. No more clay bowls, no more clay pebbles, none of that jazz. This is as simple. It couldn't get more simple than this. Okay, so it's filled up, as easy as that. I made sure, like I showed in my previous video, that the water level is about at least 1/4 inch deep to the net cup. And that's it. We grab our new bean contender plant and put it inside the net cup. And I grab my 3-inch clone collar, and I made a bigger hole here with the soldering iron. If you ever want to see how I do that, you know, just let me know in the comments. I grab the clone collar, and the hole is just perfect. You take a look, and that's it. There's our transplant. Now, with all my plants and I transplant, also what I do, and I want to show you, I have white electrical tape. So if you watched the video and you saw all these white labels, I just purchased white electrical tape. I just set it down on the table. I mark out the date I started the seed, the date I transplanted, what nutrients that I had, and I stick it on so that I can keep a record right on the container itself. We're going to do the other one right now. And it's the same way. Another 3-gallon container. Grab our bucket with our nutrients that we mixed earlier on in the video, the Master Blend. I pH'd it. Fill it up. Grab my other bit because I just divided the nutrients. And I'm going to fill it up, and I'm just going to guess this. Let's see if I got it right. 3-inch net cup, lid already drilled out. Put it into the container and bang, one shot. That net cup has about 1/4 inch of water inside of it. And that's all we need to get these roots to start growing. Grab my plant, drop it in. I don't wash any of the soil away, nothing. Very simple. Nice and easy. The other clone collar that I had already prepped, put it in here, and ta-da! We just transplanted 2 bean plants. It's as simple as that, and I do that for everything. Very simple, very clean, very organized. We're going to just cut this right now, and I'm going to do my labels because I want to show you my labels, and not to take too much time out in this video. This is as simple as transplanting our 2 new plants. So to cut the video short, this is what I do. white electrical tape, very simple, right? And the beauty is that we can use a Sharpie to mark down any info, and we can stick this on our container. And once it's on our container, we can always just peel it off so easy because it doesn't fall apart. So what I do when I started the seed, I use one of these little things here, you know, to mark the plant, sorry, and I put the date that I started the seed. So I put down contender beans and the formula that we're using, which I'm doing MB1, which is 12,612 per 5 gallons. The pH that we started off, SS is seed started, so June 15th. Transplant, July 5th, 21. That's it. So I'm just gonna grab this label, and it's wonderful because they peel off like butter. You know, we can always peel it off. It doesn't leave any residue. So that was a little thing that I came up with, and I'm really happy about. And I'm just gonna cut this one. I wanted to show everybody, right? Put it on there. It's always good to record it. Like, I've gotten into the system and it works out so nice for me. So they're both marked. And that's transplanted. That's as easy as it is. We're gonna grab these right now, put them on the rack, and that's their permanent home so they can start growing. Off to its new home. Come on down. And we just gonna place it on here. And what it's gonna do, if it starts and needs the trellis, it's there. This is my first time doing the contender beans. So I'm gonna put the one there, grab this one that we just transplanted, and just put it right in front. I'm gonna just reverse these. We got plenty of room. And that's it, folks. We just transplanted our contender beans. Let's see what happens in a few weeks and how they're gonna grow. Hey everyone, I wanted to thank everybody for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, subscribing is free, and stay tuned to our channel because coming soon, I'm going to show you a beautiful harvest and how to mix master blend. And in our harvest, I'm going to show you us harvesting carrots, our hydroponic carrots in cracky style. And yeah, hydroponic carrots, you can do it just the same way I did. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Thanks everybody.